one of the most important things, if you are an entrepreneur, is don't think in terms of what is my job title going to be. You know, I want to be a this. You know, I want to be a, even if it's, I want to be a lawyer, or I want to be or I want to be in this industry. Don't think like that. Think, this is what you need to be asking. What problem am I solving? It's all about solving problems. I think Elon Musk said, or somebody smart said, the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you'll make, or the amount of money you make is in relationship to how big of a problem you solve. So think in terms of what problem am I solving, and the other thing is, what will I be an expert in? Okay, the economy works by people focus, and that's why we have money, and why we love Bitcoin, because it's a good form of money. So that I focus on this, you focus on making that, someone else focuses. And we're able to then trade our skills using money. So in order to make money, you need to be an expert in something of value. Now, if you're an expert at, laying in the sun at the beach, well, you're not going to make money at that because no one's really valuing that. So you want to solve a problem that people want solved, and you need to be an expert at something, at a skill that the market needs. And one other point I want to make on this is, there's a lot out there about follow your passions and do what you love, and that's important. But, especially when I started out, I was just all about, what does the market want? Forget for 1 second about what you want and what you like. What does the market want? That's how I got into my business. You may think, I sold sex toys because that's what I love. I'm not. I don't really have a fetish for those products. I started a mall on the internet and had 30 different stores, and it started probably 30 different businesses. And the one that was the best is the one I followed, because that's what the market was telling me to do. Okay? Now, you want what you like to sort of intersect with something that the market wants, because in order to be an expert, in order to solve a problem, you're going to have to put in a lot of time and energy. So you don't want to do something you hate. But don't just be thinking about what you like. Keep in mind for the market. So, now, and another thing too I want to point out. People have said, oh geez, Dave's cool because, now, listen, I'm 50 years old. I'm not really working for money. I make these videos for my education, for your education, just making the world a better place. Oh, that's really cool. But I'm here because I'm 50 years old. When I started my business when I was 25, and this is not a joke, I set my alarm for 6 a.m., got up, I worked from home, sat at my desk until midnight, and went back to bed and set the alarm. My first 6 months of trying to start my business, that's how I worked. And then gradually less and less. Eventually I threw away the alarm clock, and now, as I say, I don't really work for money. I'm working, this is work, right? But I'm just doing what I like. But that's the back end of decades of huge amounts of focused time. Things to do list every morning, cranking away. So, it's a lot of work to start a business. And so it helps, you gotta like what you do, but think about what the market wants, okay? And I'm going to talk about some things that I think the market wants, some good places for you to look. Okay, so one other point here is also to keep in mind when you're solving a problem another point in coming up with ideas of what business to do, and I'm going to give you 5 ideas, okay? But one other point is to simply follow the money. Like I said, I set up a bunch of stores on the internet, this is 95, and then I followed the one that was making the most money. So sometimes, my father had a saying, if you throw enough shit against the wall, something's going to stick. Sort of do a bunch of experiments, try a bunch of little things, and if you get anything, if you get one sale, if you get one bite, if you get one thing, then go in that direction. Follow the money. But also with that, keep in mind, one thing I didn't learn till later in life is there can be a lot of money in something that's like a gimmick and a trick, and then it goes away. As opposed to when you build real value, it stays there. So for example, in my affiliate program, or with search engine optimization years ago, I figured out a trick that if you build a website with like 300 pages and then another domain, similar website with like 300 pages, and you do like 5 of those and you link them all together, Google thought you were huge and you rank, and I was making lots of money, and then one day Google changed its algorithm and it was all gone. So I followed the money, and then that money one day disappeared, as opposed to just, creating my affiliate program, which was a real value thing, wasn't a gimmick. It's still making money today, 20 plus years later. So follow the money, but try to be aware of whether the money is coming from a gimmick and sort of a fad, or coming from real value, okay? Now, here's my ideas on things you could do to make money. One is, I believe, that was my pen dying. Oh, that's great. Node on Lightning Network. Okay, so this is really technical. I don't know if you're young, listen, you can go into things. Remember, first of all, another point, nothing's easy. We have a saying in my company that the scariest thing a programmer, computer developer can say to you is, "Oh, that's easy." That's easy means you haven't researched enough. An idea that you think is going to make money that's easy is just something you haven't researched. Because everything is if it's easy, then lots of people will do it and the profit's sucked up. And so anything that's going to make money has its headaches, has its difficult things, and a lot of times you think of a new idea, you're very positive, and you think of all the benefits, and you're like, oh, this is awesome, and then once you get into it, you realize it's like everything else. It's a pain in the ass, right? There's problems, there's difficult things, and that's what work is. If work was so easy, we would go to the beach and get rich, right? It doesn't work like that. So now Lightning Network, running a node, it sounds pretty confusing, right? Because you have no idea what that's all about. I don't. But it's like anything else. There's a bunch of, the key to working and starting something new is the first thing in the morning, you sit down and you work on it until you want to bang your head into the wall, and then you walk away. And you either come back the next day, or you come back a few hours later, and you start again. You just plug through. So anyways, this is new. I like to get into businesses that are new, rapidly growing things. So running a node on a Lightning Network and earning, transactions are going to zip through these nodes, and you could earn small fees. Who knows what you can make? But I would be playing with this if I was young. It's new and it's growing. If there's, that could turn into something. Now, if you're a real developer, maybe trying to get into the business of making apps, that sounds like it's a lot more difficult. But anything on the Lightning Network, I like to get into stuff, like I said, I jumped onto the web in '95 because nobody was there and I knew people were coming. Here's something, nobody's here and they're coming. So it's a good place to get, okay? Next idea, just in general, is something with staking. Okay, now you want to get on a network that's real and is going to survive. So you don't want to invest and get into staking with a shit coin, right? So you got to pay attention. I think if these things, they're supposedly launching soon. So these are ideas for a little bit in the future, but you can start looking. OMG. Now I've seen this Cosmos. Eventually Ethereum. They're going to have opportunities where you can stake your coins. You run a node and stake your coins, and it's a way to make money. I would be researching that as a future business. That's really not today. So, and both of these probably hard to make money today. Let's get to something where maybe you can make money today. Here's another one that you maybe not for it. You won't make money today, but I would learn. I mean, if you have any interest in programming and development. Blockchain developer. You take 6 months, and for any of these business ideas, don't quit your day job. Don't cut off any existing income streams until you get the ball rolling here. I mean, I guess if your existing income stream comes from you working 80 hours a week, you got an issue. You're gonna, it's kind of hard to start something when you're totally burnt out from your existing job. But assuming you have any energy, you can work on weekends, you can work on nights, you can get up early. And let me tell you something, 20 minutes a day is more than, one whole day on a Saturday, So get up in the morning and literally work on something for a half hour or 1 hour. Get up a little earlier and then go to work. Do it in the morning. Morning, the mind is fresh. So anyways, work on stuff. So blockchain developer, that'll take a long time, So, but there are courses. There's a Consensus Academy. It looks like the Harvard of programming. Consensus Academy, they have a thing. They only accept a few people. That looks probably hard to get into. But there's different courses out there learning how to develop, whether it's on Ethereum or make sure, you want to learn how to program on a platform that's doing well. So Lightning Network, Ethereum, Stellar, and there may be others, but those obviously are the three I like. So learn, this will be, if you're an expert in this, right, this is growing, and there aren't a lot of these, you will make money. And so it takes a little bit of an investment because you're going to have to study for I don't know how long. So if you go, you could, if you have nothing to do and you spend 10 hours a day, you could get here pretty fast. If you have other things and it's only the 1 hour a day, it'll take you a while, but I really believe this can make money. But it takes a certain personality too to be a developer. You have to like sitting in front of the computer and sort of learning another language, So that might not be for everyone, but I like the idea. What else do we have? Okay, so just in general, do I have room here? When I started, again, back in the 90s, I remember that consulting was always sort of the no-brainer starting business for people who eventually became entrepreneurs. So basically, you develop a skill in something. And maybe it's not even in technology, or in blockchain. Maybe you are good at graphic design, although that's more of a contractor if you were a graphic designer. But whatever it is, and maybe what's the difference between a contractor and a consultant? The bottom line is you be an expert in something, whether it's design, whether it's some sort of social media marketing, or whether it's what else might you be an expert in, or just blockchain strategy, or something. You're an expert in something, and you market that, and you go to companies and you say, hey, I'll help you with this problem. And it's so the reason it works well is because instead of saying, hey, hire me, that's it's a commitment on the company, and they brought you in, and they got to deal with your health insurance, and they're telling you what to do. But if you come in and say, hey, a few months, you can cancel at any time, you can get rid of me when you want, I'm going to just focus on this one niche, which is something you need, and I'm an expert. It's like they don't have that much to lose, right? Especially if you're coming in with something that they need. So starting as a consultant, and what I saw, when I was younger, it's probably still true today, is a lot of these consultants, they would go in, they're an expert in something, they go into multiple companies to help with this thing they're an expert in, and then they put two and two together and say, this company needed this, and this company this, and this company, you know what, now I have an idea for a product. Or you know what, I'm going to take this to another level. It's a great way to get started as an entrepreneur, as a consultant. But again, it starts with being an expert at something that the market wants. So, you need to be in love with learning and developing these skills and always getting better. So, and then also, I guess related to consulting, I've worked with Ty. I like Ty. People are like, oh, you like Ty Lopez, I'm going to unsubscribe. I've known him for a while. I knew him 10 years ago, before he had the online education business, and he was talking about books and mentors, and he is a smart guy. He's pretty flashy with the advertising, and I guess people, some people turned off by it, whatever. And anyways, his social media marketing course, I think that's a good idea. I'm not trying to sell his course here, and I'm not getting any commission. But the idea, when it comes to consulting, all companies want new business, and social media is a new way of bringing in customers. A lot of people don't know anything about it, so if you were an expert in that, it seems like an easy thing where you go and just go to your local businesses and say, hey, listen, I'll bring you in a few new customers, and you focus on one area of social media to bring people into local businesses. So, I mean, social media marketing. And, people say Tai Lopez is a scam. Listen, it's a money-back thing. I mean, I think his social media marketing course is like $1,000, which is a fair amount of money. But if you're serious and you watch, you've probably got hundreds of videos in there, and then you really work at it, and you're making an investment, it might be worth it. But it's a form of consulting, social media marketing. Maybe you're already an expert and you know how to and again, within that, you want to focus. Listen, Ty's probably got a lot more info than me on that, but you pick, I want to help restaurants, or I want to help, dentists, or I want to help whatever, and you have a focus on how you do it, and you build up your marketing materials. Now, the other thing I think I said at the beginning, don't dump your existing income stream. Oh yeah, social media marketing, that's awesome. I'm going to forget everything else and go out and do it, and then you realize it's a pain in the ass, or it takes a year to start, and then you run out of money. Try to do things gradually. Again, when I started my business, I was working, my father had a company, I was working there. I said, listen, I gotta start with the web. And I was part-time as I started my web business, and then after 6 months, and it was going well, I said, forget it, I'm not gonna do anything else with his business, So it was gradual. And it's good to have multiple income streams. Don't just get all excited and dump everything. But if you do get excited, put the time in. And my other video I made a few days ago about the goal setting and making a plan. If you pick one of these things, or you may have something else, a different idea. Pick it, bake your plan, and put in the time. And I think that's all I wanted to say. Let me know if you have questions. Good luck.